As a contact sport, it's not uncommon among players to get into it and lose their cool, which led to questionable plays. Every sport has its share of unfair referee calls, warnings, as well as penalties, and the NFL is no stranger to that. For today's video, we've compiled a list of some of the worst referee calls in this sport, so stay tuned to find out more. Botched coin toss at the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Detroit Lions football game in 1998. Starting today's list of worst referee calls is nothing extreme like the next ones we'll be enumerating, but it is something that has baffled fans and players to this day. Held at the Pontiac Silverdome, the Pittsburgh Steelers' Bill Cohers and the Detroit Lions' Jerome Bettis called for tails on the coin toss for overtime, and since it's one of the few games available on Thanksgiving, everyone from every household stood to watch this gusto. However, head referee Phil Luckett did otherwise. Bettis, as well as the other captains present during the coin toss, were shocked that they lost the coin toss and the Lions went on to win the game during overtime. In his defense, Luckett stated that Bettis began to call heads before making it a last-minute decision and opting for tails halfway through his pronunciation. Luckett remembered Bettis' call sounded something like head tails. This may be a small matter, but thanks to this, the sound system has greatly improved over the years, and it even resulted in an amendment in the NFL rules. The changes require the visiting captains to state heads or tails before the referee initiates the coin toss, instead of calling heads or tails while the coin's in the air. In addition to this, the back judge and field judge will stand by the captains throughout the coin toss ceremony, which will serve as a necessary precaution so there won't be confusion after the call's been made. Green Bay Packers versus Seattle Seahawks 2012. Another wrong call made by the referee happened back in 2012. This one is still fresh from many fans' memories. At the time, the Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks were set to play for Week 3, held in Emerald City. Truthfully speaking, the game saw pretty low scores, but the referee call made this game memorable. Both teams were down for their last play, and with only 8 seconds remaining with a score 12-7 down to Packers, the Hawks, Russell Wilson, and the rest of the Seahawks lined up for what would be the final play that night. As Wilson hiked the ball and hurled it over the end zone, it was intercepted by the Packers' M.D. Jennings, but the Seahawks' Golden Tate had a firm grip on the ball that one of the replacement referees called it as a touchdown for the Seattle Seahawks. ESPN's broadcaster on that particular night, Mike Tricio, called the play as to how he saw it. It were two referees had different calls. One ref called the play dead, which meant that the Packers' interception was ruled, while the other referee called it 6 points for the opposing team. Naturally, the referees convened and reviewed the play, and they finally settled on awarding the game to the Seattle Seahawks, where fans finally called that they had enough of the league's replacement referees. To this day, those referees are banned to enter the state of Wisconsin, so it was a hard lesson learned by those refs. The Chicago Bears versus Detroit Lions at Soldier Field 2010. Been more than a decade since this famous game, which gave birth to another vernacular term in the football lingo, process of a catch. Held back in September 2010 at Soldier Field, the two teams were set to play against each other as the season opener. Near the end of the game, the Lions were lagging 19-14 in the fourth quarter, but they were driving against Brian Urlacher and the others. With less than 30 seconds left, the Lions quarterback Sean Hill found wide receiver Calvin Johnson in the corner of the end zone over the Bears' Zach Bowman. In a blink of an eye, touchdown Lions. But the referees had a different call, in particular Gene Steratore. As the referees reviewed the play, they later ruled that it was an incomplete catch, wherein replay showed the ball leaving Johnson's hand as soon as the ball touched the ground. In order for the catch to be completed, he's got to maintain possession of the ball throughout the entire process of the catch, Steratore said. Because of this, the Lions went on to lose 2 of their last plays, the Bears winning the match. This call led NFL fans in a frantic debate on what exactly constituted a catch by NFL standards. And in line with this, the Calvin Johnson rule came to be. The rule defined what a catch was, which is best described from an expert in NBCSport.com's article that read, control of the ball, 2 feet or another body part down on the ground, and a football act or move, such as reaching for the goal line or tucking the ball away. The Oakland Raiders versus San Diego Chargers in 1978. Seems that the NFL's referees have quite a long history making bad calls that go way back to the late 70s. One such memorable, and not in a good way, is the game between the Raiders and Chargers, which is now famously known as the Holy Roller Game. At the time, the Raiders boasted 18 wins against the Chargers from 1968 until 1977 before the Chargers won the AFC West rivals' second meeting in 1977. According to the Raiders' former quarterback, Ken Stabler, the opposing team's linebacker, Woody Lowe, beat whoever was supposed to block him and got to Stabler pretty quick. On the other hand, Pete Banaszak, the Raiders' running back, called for Stabler to throw him the ball, wherein Stabler fumbled the ball towards him while Banaszak botched his attempt that led to the ball propelling towards the Chargers' goal line. Then suddenly the ball was hit by the Raiders' Dave Casper on the 2-yard line and caroomed into the end zone, where he fell on it to tie the game at 20-20. It was Errol Mann who scored the game-winning point with a 21-20 victory. Raiders coach John Madden recalled it as one of those things that maybe you can't do that, but the rules say you can do that, so you can do that. If you don't want to do that, then go change the rule. Sable intentionally fumbled forward while Banaszak also intended to fumble the ball towards the Chargers' goal line. These acts were both considered a violation of the NFL rules, but neither of said actions were noticeable to the officials on the scene that day. Because of that, the NFL rulebook was revised under Rule 8, Section 4, Article 2 that read, after the 2-minute warning, any fumble that occurs during a down, including a PAT, the fumbled ball may only be advanced by the offensive player who fumbled the ball or any member of the defensive team. Championship game between the Los Angeles Rams and the New Orleans Saints in 2019. Of course, we saved the best, or worst, for last, which is none other than the Saints-Rams championship game last 2019, which was even called, hands down, the worst no call in the history of the NFL. Not only did it go viral on social media, but the whole American nation came in solidarity and called it as such. During the final moments of the championship game between the two, the referee who presided over the game, Bill Vinovich, and his crew missed a glaring pass interference call which angered New Orleans fans that even led to them boycotting the NFL after the game. If Vinovich only made the right call, then the Saints would not only have acquired a new set of downs, but it also meant that the team had a chance to run down the clock. But because of what the referee failed to rightfully enact, the Rams managed to win over the Saints with 26-23, since they managed to get to overtime that led to the Los Angeles Rams advancing in the Super Bowl. With fans clamoring on the streets and online, the NFL acknowledged that it was indeed a bad call, but despite that, no changes will be made in the results. Saints fans are looking for an apology on how their team was unfairly treated, but the league refused to do such. They did admit that a key pass interference call should have gone against the Rams, which would have led the Saints to have first and goal. Because the officials on the field are humans like the players and coaches, errors will happen, NFL attorneys said in a statement. The NFL parties do not dispute that one or more penalties for pass interference or illegal helmet-to-helmet contact were mistakenly not called late in the NFC's championship game, and that the NFL would like its officials on the field to make these calls. And with that, we're wrapping up today's video about the worst referee decision in the history of the NFL. Were you able to watch some of the games we listed today? Do you agree that these calls were unfairly made? Let us know in the comments below. Before you go, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button before you go. We'll see you at the next episode. Thanks for watching.